Jacob Burton here from StellaCulinary.com, and today we're going to go over real quick how to dehydrate fat using this stuff, Tapioca Maltodextrin, which is a very lightweight starch derived from tapioca. And what happens is the pure starch itself has no perceptible flavor. It's extremely light. And when you mix it with fat, it will absorb that fat, giving it a dehydrated texture and appearance. Now, the nice thing about this is when the tapioca maltodextrin hits your tongue or any sort of wet or moist environment, it dissolves almost immediately. So it gives you the perception of the dehydrated fat reconstituting back into its original form. So here I'm using olive oil, and as you can see, it's just starting with a little bit of tapioca maltodextrin right at the bottom of a food processor, adding a little bit of olive oil, giving it a pulse, and I continue this until I get the appropriate texture. And you can see that the first couple of pulses, it's extremely lightweight, flies away very easily, and now after a couple more pulses and adding more of the oil, it becomes a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier, but it's still a powdered form. So you basically are just eyeballing it to the appropriate finished texture. Now, usually the texture I'm shooting for is something like a light soil consistency, and it will depend upon what you're actually dehydrating. And the cool thing about tapioca maltodextrin is it will dehydrate pretty much any form of fat, whether it's peanut butter, sesame oil, olive oil, anything that is predominantly fat, this can turn into powder. Now, a couple of applications that I specifically use this technique for are we take our sesame oil and we dehydrate it before we place it on our sashimi plate, and this keeps the sesame oil contained, which would otherwise permeate the entire plate. Now, we also do the same thing with our cold-pressed olive oil on our caprese dish, and we dehydrate the olive oil, and that keeps the olive oil from pooling underneath the tomatoes and wilting the mosh, the greens underneath the tomatoes. And also, at the end of our meal, we serve chocolate mignardises, which is basically chocolate ganache that we then form into a ball and roll in dehydrated peanut butter. And so you have this nice little flavor action going on with the chocolate and the peanut butter rehydrating back in your mouth. For more information and related techniques, you can check out this episode's show notes at stellaculinary.com/KP28.